Okay, here we go. This is kind of a big one. I'm hoping it's not going to go too long. There's 4 points to this message. Interesting way that it started. I woke up on the 15th at 2:22 in the morning, which is 6, which is the equivalent of 3 and 3, 3, both representing Christ consciousness, and I've come to understand Yeshua himself. And I know that sounds a little odd to some people maybe, but I'm starting to get an idea of this whole difference. You know, we already learned that Christ is here because that office is present in each one of us. But Yeshua himself is a significant ascended master. He's incredible. You've heard Derek say many times how his mind just blows him away every time you read his words, every time you look into the things that this man said and how perfectly he said things and what a genius he was. He is definitely a significant player in this end game. Of course, dogmatic religion teaches you that Christ and Jesus are the same thing and that he's going to come back and he's going to save us and all this sort of stuff, and it's a lot of misinformation. But the truth is Yeshua is a real brother. He's a real being, and he is going to come back. He is, and he is in process of doing that right now. He's speaking to some of the family, myself included. So there's that. So that's the thing. And then on, it was 2:22 in the morning, and the date was, of course, it was, April. What was the date? I think I wrote it right here, didn't I? Yes. Yeah, it was 4/15/2019, which is 4/33/33/33. At 2:22 in the morning, that would be 3/3/4/33/33/33. So these things are no accidents. I'm getting lots of 3s and 4s all the time. And every time I ask a question, it shows up around something that has to do with 3/3. And it's very clear to me that Yeshua, our beloved brother and teacher, is sharing information, so to speak, and touching base. So 4 things. Once again, the number 4 is really significant to me lately. And so when this came at 2:22 in the morning and I was awake, the first thing that came to me, I posted it already in Discord, and it was about joy. But something in my heart was like, that wasn't everything. The day before, I was just asking these questions in my heart. They were just there. And so I was seeking Father and asking, what is this question in my heart about? The first thing that happened was this 2:22 in the morning, and then I immediately got words from Father, and these were the specific words. I posted them, and I'm going to read them again. The first part of this message is about joy. Joy will get you through. The time of unhindered joy is here. I'm exposing the treachery of the enemy, which was really interesting. Right after I posted that is when the fires were popping up, the pictures and images of fires of Notre Dame. Part of the treachery of the enemy there. The negatives have come more than once to your door to entice you away from the joy of the Father. Accusations have come, bad news has been proclaimed, and disappointment has tried to enter your family, this specific family. It's about our family of light. I say to you, my joy will get you through. No longer will you allow discouragement to win the day, for I am the God of joyous breakthrough. I'm having trouble speaking this morning. I can tell I'm not sure what that's about, but anyways, bear with me. Have you not found gladness as you have walked with me and loved me? This is only a foretaste of the bliss that I have reserved and have stored up for you. The future will be nothing like the past, which I really love that. So leap for joy, shout for joy, and dance with joy. There's those words, they're all over it. And the scripture that came to me with this was from my beloved David, of course. Psalms, which all of these thematic things that I'm beginning are being brought to me in the presence of Yeshua and David, 2 of which that I have related to my entire life. You can pass through this open gate with the password of praise. Password, I love how that's used for this time frame, because David, what did he know about passwords? I mean, maybe people actually use them verbally. What's the password? Open the door. But now they're so integral to the way we electronically interact on everything has a password. So let me read that again. You can pass through Father's open gates with the password of praise. In parentheses, I put joy. That sense of great dancing, joy, love, hope. Come right into his presence with thanksgiving. Come bring your thanks offering to him and affectionately bless his beautiful name. For the Father is always good and ready to receive you. He's so loving that it will amaze you. And this is part of this whole message. It's about his attributes. So kind that it will astound you. Astound and amaze. These are pretty heavy words. And he is famous for his faithfulness towards all, which we all know this. Everyone knows that our God, our Father, can be trusted, for he keeps his promises to every generation. Okay, so that was the thing that I had already posted about joy. Okay, I've got a little bit written about joy. Most of it's pretty brief on joy. The big thing with this thing about joy, and this is accurate, it's absolutely true. I've experienced it in my life in a way that I can't even put into words. But the thing that I distinguished, that I used to do, and sometimes it is appropriate, sometimes it's accurate, but you can't bank on this. Do not let the physical manifestations in your life, the actual things that are in the physical, be a confirmation for this joy, so that your joy then becomes something that you actually are living in because of the circumstances around you. It is human nature for us to be in this place of faith and this place of trust and to feel joyous about it. But then when things remain bleak in our surroundings, the things don't come, the things that we're looking for, family members healed, relationships put back together, finances being met, needs being met, these kinds of things, when they don't come to pass in the physical, in our sight, we have a tendency to get off focus and lose that joy because we look around and we think it's not working. These things are not coming to pass that I desire. Yesterday in Derek's video, one of the confirmations that came to me, which is really, this is all beautiful, it's perfect, I love it, because it was the day before that video when I got the beginning of this message and said, wait, there's more coming, just wait, and gave a specific day for me to post it, which will be tomorrow, which is actually today when you're seeing this, so forgive me because I'm filming it ahead of time so I can post it on time. But anyways, Derek said how the construct, the matrix, the enemy, the archons, the negatives, whatever you want to call the opposing side to the positive, loves to present things in the physical. He was speaking about the specific topic that was in that video, which I won't mention what it is. Go watch it, definitely. But he was speaking about certain powers that be that like to present everything spiritual that's within us. The kingdom is within us, and that means that the temple, he mentioned that. Everything's within us. They like to bring it out to the physical. They want to liken everything to the physical, hence the temple being physical. These things are physical. The clothing they wore, physical. So be very wary of allowing the physical attributes in your life to bring this joy to you. To expound upon it and to add it to your joy, great, because sometimes, especially now in this time where manifestation is speeding up and these things are coming for those of us that are awake very quickly, once we get in this mindset of joy and we stay in it, things are happening. We had a situation in one of the rooms in Discord the other day where a sister came in and she was, becoming ill and asked for us to send vibes and love her way. And another brother made a great suggestion. We all joined in it and we put this manifestation ability into play. And it was almost instantaneous that she was aware. And the next day, everything was really well. It was good. So these things are speeding up. That being said, that you will be seeing more physical reality of things coming to pass as you put your intentions into them. You will be seeing it. But what I'm saying is to discern between banking on that to bring your joy and just looking at that to add to your joy. This joy has to come from truth, which is where? Within. So this is the big key for this first part. Don't be derailed by what's happening in the physical. Your joy has to come from the truth within. It has to be something that's ever present because you know the truth, regardless of what this matrix throws at you, because this title for this video is going to be the tools for what's coming. Derek spoke about that as well. There's preparation happening. We're all getting prepared for the things that are coming. These 4 tools that were given to me are about what's coming, and they're absolutely key. You have to get these solidified if you want to present yourself and your mission during this time. Of course, there's no have to. Everybody's path is absolutely correct. I'm just stating what I was told and sharing it with you because I know I was told to. So that's joy. Don't get wrapped up in the physical manifestations. They are going to happen and they're going to be beautiful and wonderful. It's going to be great. But when they don't, when things are presented to you, negate that. You keep your focus on what's true inside the kingdom within. And keep that joy. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 that came to me, and this was a bit later, is actually, that day, it was later that day. I was doing my thing, I was on the computer doing different things, conversing with Mario and talking to Tracy and just doing what we do. And I was in the middle of doing something. I was kind of focused, and I heard this sound outside that I'd not heard before. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I've ever actually heard. I have heard it on movies and stuff, and like at an aviary, but I've never heard a dove like in my presence, like right there with me. I hear this, and I'm a bird fanatic. Anybody who knows me knows I'm absolutely enamored with my feathered family. And so I was really intrigued by the sound. I thought, oh, how sweet, that's neat, you know? And I kept working because I was busy. And this call just kept, and in my heart it was saying, it was calling to me. And it was this little guy was not gonna stop until he got my attention. So I put down what I was doing, and I walked outside and around the house, and right on the corner of the house, right over my bedroom window, is this white dove. I mean, I just looked at him. He was so beautiful. The same one that the magicians have in their hat. You know, that dove. I have never really encountered one in the wild like this, like we're just flying around free. And he was just singing to me. So I spoke to him for a few minutes. And I got nothing other than he was there. And it was this beautiful, precious feeling. So I stood there for a little while. We engaged with each other. I watched him. And then I walked towards him, and he just walked up the roof. And then he was gone. So I was like, okay, whatever that means. So I came back, and I did look up the definition. Let me get that for you really quick, because it's kind of significant, because it leads to my next part of this this thing for what this meant to me. So I just with my intention, I said I'm going to Google the information that I want to ask the question, what is the spiritual meaning behind a white dove? So I did, and this is what I found. The dove represents peace of the deepest kind. It soothes and quiets our worried and troubled thoughts, enabling us to find renewal and silence in the mind. The dove's roles as spirit messenger are maternal in symbol. Okay, so, and it's about inner peace. It goes on with a little bit more. But the big thing for me was the maternal. Because just before that, when I was watching Naughty Beaver's video that came out, he was speaking about the mother being still here, and that the son has ascended. You know, Yeshua died and he left, but the mother stayed here. And in Revelation, he reads about how the mother has been, moved off into the mountains, and she's being protected, and that his belief and what he was portraying is that she's still here somewhere. And I was questioning myself, like, what is he talking about? What does that represent? Because I was really intrigued by it. Well, it was tied in with this peace, this white dove that came to me. And just to throw it in, he was here again this morning. And I have a feeling he's going to keep showing up, because this is mother, this is peace, this is this thing that's part of this message that the coming days are going to require that you understand and that you embody and you encompass within that kingdom within. Well, it's already there. You just have to access it and hold it. So, this is what happened. So that was a specific message to me that the divine feminine, our mother, Gaia, Earth, which there's some other things I discovered about that. That'll be another video. But anyways, this is a maternal piece, a mothering, if you will. And this is the other component to this joy, is this peace, a kind of a peace that a mother gives to a newborn baby, to, that whole relationship of divine feminine with her creation. This is mother saying, I'm holding you, I've got you. And even though, once again, your physical circumstances are going to be constantly tossed around trying to negate you from this place of joy and of this perfect maternal peace, it's what you have to hold. Joy, peace. We've got the love thing going. The family's going great. I mean, the love frequency just rises. We're being met with the the duality, the opposing, but we just keep going. We are bringing that up. I can feel it. I can see it. The earth, the Schumann resonance is showing it. All of these things. I also posted a video in Truth Talk about, and it was specifically bang on with what's going on with Gaia, Mother Earth right now. The energy from her core that she is putting out to us and what it's about. Watch that video, because once again, that's a part of this piece. It will help you to connect to that so that you have this in a way that cannot be moved. Okay, let me see here. All right, I'll just leave that alone because that's not really important. And then yesterday evening, in the middle of the night, it was I was having trouble sleeping and wrestling with some stuff, some fire of my own that was, I believe, presented to derail me from the rest of this message. But of course, all things work towards, those who love Father. It works towards good. So it rolled itself around, and I'll tell you, it was painful and difficult, and it touched me in places I didn't want to be touched. Sacred places that in my heart are so precious to me. But it was a process, and I learned some really good stuff for you and for myself too. So that's good. Anyways, it's about trust. And I watched a video of someone who was getting this information from outside sources, our family that's outside the magnetosphere, and also here in a spiritual sense that are aiding us and giving us this information and these light energies and all these good things that are coming our way. So she was talking about this trust, and that was their biggest theme. And these messages were coming from archangels, which of course are significant to me for my own personal reasons. So I was very interested, and it completely resonated with me as if they were speaking directly to me. So it was about trust. And then, but it was, you know, I couldn't really absorb it. I knew what it was about. And there were some personal messages in there specifically for me that have nothing to do with this message today. But I knew it was significant because I resonated with all of it, but I just trust, you know. I have such an incredible trust of Father and Source. It's beyond anything I can even describe to you. And the places it's moved into now, I can't describe it to you, but I know what it is. And so I thought, that's interesting. I'll just have to, I just heard wait again, wait. So I did. Okay. So this trust thing is about, first of all, once again, we're going to be talking the fourth and final thing, the biggest thing that's really important in this end game, the home run of this message. This is about Father. This is about Source. Who created you? Where you are from? What you are cut from? Who you are made just like because of his choices to make you and give you everything. He, you know, Yeshua says it time and time again if you read through his words. He's in the Father's in him, he is in us, we are in him. This Christ place carries that office, and we are endowed with everything Father has, just like Yeshua was. He was explaining to us by example. So this trust thing is understanding Father and Source, knowing him. And I'll get more on that on this fourth point. I'm going to go into that into a little more depth. But right now, that's just the first part. But I think the biggest part about it was trust your own internal compass. Yourself. Through this process of getting this information, each step seemed weird and odd to me. And I just, you know, kind of like I had to wrestle with it. But each time I passed through the step and I just adopted it verbatim, that what was in my heart was absolute truth, and I acted on it, the next step came to me. And it was clear to me that what this is talking about is trusting that inner compass, your heart, the center of who you are. You're starting to get information. You're starting to get these little ideas, like you'll look at something and you'll hear something. A person will say something to you in a video or something you read, and it resonates, or a big wall goes up and something in you says, that's weeds. No. These little things that are happening, pay very close attention to your heart and trust it. Even when it seems silly and ridiculous, trust it. This is where the divine communication is taking place. I mean, we're talking trust. It's not as difficult for me as it may be for some people, and maybe it's harder for me than it might be for others. But it's easy for me to kind of jump on that trust wagon even when it's goofy and silly, because I believe that's why my name is what it is. It's what I am naturally inclined to do. But what I'm trying to implore you to do is to trust that inner compass, because it will always lead you to the place you are meant to end up, even in the interim if it seems a little goofy or weird. So there's that. And that's pretty much it for the trust. Okay. And the number 4, I wrote this at the bottom of my page. We'll get into that at the end too. I'll try to remember to do that at the end. Okay, number 4 is attributes. Okay. I noticed in my notes, which you guys know my notes. I'll kind of hold them up so you can see them a little bit. It looks like, you know, I was telling Mario that, did you ever see that one movie? No, I can't remember the name of it. Russell Crowe is in it. He's a really, really intelligent guy. Of course, he deals more in numbers. I don't do numbers. I'm not a math head. But you can see this. But in these 3 places, I noticed a puzzle being come together in my notes. As I scribble all these things all over the place, I linked them together because I had actually said in 3 different occasions, 3 again, attributes came up in each one of these separate subjects, attributes, okay? So this is something, this is key. This is key to this end game. Everything that we're going to see, everything that you are going to be exposed to from now until we are victorious and we've won this thing. It is absolutely key that you understand this password to being in the right place in this given time, and it's attributes, because you know so many scenarios are going on right now. We're hearing about what Derek's teaching about Zionism and what's going on in, you know, the political world. We see all kinds of things happening there. If you just watch Naughty Videos, 2 new videos that he just put out pretty much back to back, full of stuff, amazing good stuff. He has completely crossed a threshold in information, and it is phenomenal. But there's so many scenarios being depicted for us. Okay, so some of the scenarios are, okay, the 3 planets that are lining up, that are, you know, that he presented, that are almost lined up, which is Nirubu, Blue Kachina, Red Kachina. You know, the prophecies from the Hopi, what they believe it is. They believe these are benevolent. They believe this is the Great White Brother. They believe this is their homeland people coming back to us, our people that are on our side to assist us. So there's that scenario. And then there's these ships, these armadas, that are perched in specific places, which he once again reiterated that information. And, you know, under the guise that they're Anunnaki, you know, which is basically represents the negative of the duality, not the positive. So those are a couple of scenarios, which they could go either way. What if it's the other way around? What if the ships are benevolent, and that's actually our family of light, and these planets that are coming are actually destructive and non-benevolent, nefarious? Okay, there's no strict information at this point that's telling us one way or another. So that's a scenario there. Derek has spoken. Other people have spoken, but Derek very eloquently talked about the beauty and the horror, or he used the word horrible and beautiful at the same time, beauty and horror that's going to be happening, this other duality that's taking place. This is going to be very real. It's very, very going to be very present. I'm just trying to look at any other scenarios, any of them that you can think of. I'm sure you're hearing information all over the place, some that resonates, some that doesn't, and it's very difficult to tell who are the players in these games. Who's benevolent, who's nefarious, who is negative, who's positive. What part of the duality are they? Because not everybody, it's not 100% clear right now. Okay, so that's where this attributes comes in, and everything Derek spoke about in his video, same thing. The attributes of the behavior. He talks about how there are some beautiful, benevolent Jewish people, both in Scripture when Yeshua was teaching in his time, and even now in our own current time. And he was being very careful to make sure that you understand that this is not about a Jewish thing, that there are some beautiful, faith-based, spirit-filled Jewish people out there, that this isn't an umbrella over us, all this type of people, that there's a thread of weed, a thread of lies, a weaving of you know, the negative in amongst this group of people. And he is showing you the attributes of these people and talking about that so that we can discern and see the truth. This is part of this, and it's why it's number 4, and it's why it's so important. And I'm going to bring Father back into this. Because Naughty mentioned something in his video, and I love Naughty Beaver to pieces. Do not get me wrong. Don't make any distinction that I feel otherwise. The man is amazing. He brings us so much. But there was something that he stated in there that he reiterated a message that one pilot got when he entered the center of the earth. And the people from the center of the earth came to him with that message, talking about how nuclear war can't be allowed because of how it affects the rest of all of creation. Well, I would agree with the fact that yes, if there is actually, which I have my own beliefs about that, if there is a group of beings that are in the center of the earth and they are being protected, they would be very much affected by nuclear war. So that message would make sense. But the overall message for me, what I heard was that this has to be stopped. We have to stop it because the rest of the entire creation says we can't have this. We can't have this type of war because it doesn't just affect the 3rd dimension, it affects all the other dimensions. And something just kind of weighed with me in that. And it once again, it ties back into this. Do you know who, Father, Source, Great Creator, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, the All, do you really know who he is? Know, as in the Bible speaks of know, that intimate knowing, like you can't know what an avocado tastes like until you put it in your mouth, intimate place in your body. You chew it, you swallow it, you actually bring it into your being. Then you can know. And if you don't like avocados, well, think of something that you do really like so you can kind of relate to that word picture. This is a knowing that is on an intimate level, the most intimate you can ever be with any being ever. I get the distinct feeling that so many people still don't really know who Father is. Do you honestly think that he's concerned about anything? There's no concern in him. Who do you think created the very atoms that they make these bombs out of? He is, you know, and I say he lightly because we know that there's divine feminine and masculine, but I'm just using that for clarity that we're speaking of Father, Source, our Creator. You must know who he is on such a groundbreaking level, because speaking of groundbreaking, this horror and this beauty that is coming to us in this end game is going to shake all of creation to its core. There are a lot of people of the mind that believe that we manifest our own evil, that this evil doesn't really exist, and as long as we stay on the plane of love and joy and peace and these things that I am talking about, that those things won't manifest because we didn't manifest them. There's some truth in that, but there's also weeds. Remember that, duality, duality, duality. Attributes will tell you which way to go and what to go with. Attributes are so important. In this, I guarantee you that there is an opposing force to the family of light. It isn't a joke. It's going to be very real in this three-dimensional construct, and it is going to shake every single creation of Father to its core. We have to be prepared for this spiritually. Derek said it in the video too. Don't let it trouble your hearts. There's nothing to be really concerned about, because this is physical, this is flesh, and these things that come at us, at our flesh, in this construct, are limited to that arena. It has nothing to do with your Adma, your spark, your divinity that comes from Father. That's bulletproof, it's untouchable. So there is no fear in this. Do not let your hearts be troubled, because Father has already overcome all of this. But make no mistake that here in this construct, you need to hear this. This is going to shatter those who are not prepared for what they're going to see and what they're going to experience. This is where true death to your entire self becomes absolutely mandatory to walk this last part of our mission. Okay, and you can see this is the longest video I've ever made, and it's long because of this information. It's so important. I can't tell you enough how important it is. You've got to know who Father is, so that all this peace and joy and love and trust is grounded in something that you understand as concrete, untouchable, immovable, bulletproof, 100%. This is the truth that everything in this construct is trying to keep you from seeing, because once you have that, like Derek has said many times in his videos, nothing bothers him anymore. He's found that. He has it in spades. Of course, he had it way ahead of anybody else because that was his mission. He talks about that in the video too. We will be given what we need for this mission. We were called. Anybody who's listening to this is called. Answer that call. And part of answering that call is understanding this. Now, I said once before that it's going to shake all of creation to its core. The key to this is let's get to that core now. What do you think the core is? The truth, Source, Father, the teachings of Yeshua, the things that Derek has so boldly brought forth from day one since his transformation. This is the core. Naughty Beaver showed that mathematical spiral thing at the end of his movie, and it just kept going and going and going until it got back down to the place where it started, which would mean that it would go again, because the end is the end, and the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. This core, it's Father, it's Source. So if everything's going to get shaken to the core, where do you want to be? You want to be at that core with a full and complete, full-minded, full view understanding of that now. Now. Because there is no time. There is no spoon. How many of you are noticing that, from the time you wake up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon goes like a blink of the eye? And then from Monday to Friday goes like a nice stretch and a yawn. And then 1 month to the next is like maybe a short walk to the mailbox. Is anybody else noticing this? This construct is falling apart. These things are taking place. We must be prepared, and this is what this is about. Get to the core. Source is the core, and it's absolute. There's just no moving it. Unfortunately, for those who will not get to that core place, and they believe in what I kind of call the lollipop and rainbow scenario, that none of these things exist as long as you don't manifest them, they don't exist. I'm telling you right now, it's weeds. There is weeds and there is wheat. There is truth, there are lies. There is a duality here. And if you know the attributes of Father, if you know that core, you'll know where to go. You'll know what you're seeing. because the attributes will be there. Case in point, let's say the planets come, the Anunnaki show up in these spaceships, you know, let's just say this happens. The first ones that come have a benevolent approach, and they tell us all these great things they're going to go do for humanity. And they're wonderful and beautiful. And everybody falls for it. They think it's great. And then all of a sudden they start to implement control instead of empowerment. Naughty Beaver mentioned that in his videos. Are they going to control you, or are they going to empower you to be in control yourself? These are attributes. So whenever this first scenario happens and you see some kind of a power that's, you know, masking the eyes of the entire planet, look at the attributes. Watch very closely. The minute, the very second, that moment that being becomes interested in controlling you instead of empowering you, then you know. It doesn't matter what they paint themselves like. It doesn't matter who it is. They could be the most benevolent, beautiful looking thing you've ever seen in your whole life. But you'll know by the attributes. And how do you know that? Know your Father. Know your Creator. Get down to that core before you get shaken there. That's it. There's another huge significant thing with 4 for me. I already know what it is, but I'm not at liberty to share it yet. It's very big. But it's not time to share it yet. I don't know if it ever will be time to share it publicly or maybe just with a few key people. I don't know. I will know when the time is right. That being said, I love you guys so much. I'm so blessed by the amount of love frequency and the beauty that's coming from this family. You can't even, I can't put it into words. But this information is for you. I love you so much, and it's already 31 minutes. That's insane. But I knew it was going to be big because this had a lot to it, a lot of meat. I love you so much. I'm going to let you go because this has been a really long video. Have a fantastic day. Know that you're loved, and listen to this. If any bit of this resonates to you, listen to it and trust. Love you guys so much. Just remember, what are the 4? Joy, peace, trust, attributes. Remember those things. I love you, and I'll talk to you really soon. Have a great day, guys.